Chairman, in January, the State Department announced a pause on immigrant visas processing for 75 countries, including several U.S. partners. Since then, the department has provided no clear guidelines or timelines for when this pause will be lifted or revised. The policy is already separating families, delaying international adoptions, and blocking legal pathways for individuals who assisted the United States courts in prosecuting domestic violence cases. Federal law also provides explicit exemptions for Violence Against Women Act beneficiaries in adoption cases. Did the administration review existing laws before implementing the visa processing pause for these 75 countries?
If you care about law, order, and accountability in government, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel. Today, we're breaking down a heated exchange on Capitol Hill over a controversial visa policy that's raising serious questions about leadership, execution, and transparency.
Well, thank you for that question. The immigrant visa pause was evaluated by our legal team and determined that it was, in fact, something that we could do at this point in time. Again, this is a pause. This is not a complete cease. It is a pause while we evaluate the situation.
So why have officials acknowledged that the department is still determining how to apply those legal requirements after the pause was already put in place?
It is a very complicated legal situation, so we're working through the process to make sure that we do it right and we comply with all of
How
the
long
laws.
has the pause been in effect?
It's been in effect for a couple of months now.
So in a couple of months, you guys still haven't been able to put in the legal framework to allow the women who are the beneficiaries, even though it's already legal?
As I say, we're working through that process right now with our legal teams.
And so could you tell me a little bit about how you're working through it? Because this is already a law that's in place. And so it would seem that there hasn't been any challenge to this law, and that if it's already in place, it should be an easy go-through to start admitting those beneficiaries. Do you believe so?
I believe we're working through the process with the laws and with all the other pieces of this that come into play with the visa processing piece.
And so how would you rate your willingness to actually have this in place? Because you said you're working on it. Is it a priority or is something put on the back burner?
It is a priority for our team that works on that, absolutely.
Okay, what data did the department rely on to determine which countries were considered a public charge risk? The department briefings indicate that list came from the White House, yet the president publicly referred to countries no longer exist, such as the USSR and the United Arab Republic. How did the department verify the accuracy of the data used to compile this list?
My understanding is they looked at the rates of individuals coming into the United States from certain countries and what their rate was of becoming public charge. I think there was an analysis done on these individual countries to determine which countries are most likely to be an issue for the American taxpayer.
And so how did they do the analysis for USSR and United Arab Republic?
I was not aware that those were on the list, so I will go back and look at that.
Okay, so that could have been a misstatement. Please get back to us that information because I would like to know how it was done for countries that no longer exist. And then also, the department implemented this pause without process to account for cases that already qualify for statutory waivers under the public charge. Why were those legally required waiver pathways not operational before the policy was implemented?
Again, we're doing a legal review of the entire process, so we need a little bit of time to get through that. We will get back to you on that.
So there was no consideration prior?
I'm not aware if there's consideration or not. I wasn't involved in the process to make those determinations, but I will certainly go back and take a look at it.
Okay, I just want to get this in real quick. The success of the State Department hinges on its workforce. Recruiting, training, and retaining the best and the brightest is one of our core missions. Yet, despite the clear messages of bipartisan, bicameral support, the administration has yet to place the majority of 2025 fellowship class within the department. I wanted to know, because we already had Representative Castro who touched on the testimony of Sarah McKinley. I'm aware that 46 people are waiting for placement. When will they be notified of their placement within the A100 classes?
Those individuals have gone on to the register, what we call the register, which is where we put people that are eligible to be placed in a Foreign Service Officer class. And based on their ranking on that register, as we develop the next Foreign Service Officer class, we'll pull some of those folks off as they rise to the top of that register.
Before I run out of time, do we have a timeline that we're looking at? Because time is of the essence right now.
Yes, I believe we're going to be developing our new class in the next month or so, and we should be able to inform some of those folks that they've been selected for that.
And then lastly, who's leading the review of these fellowship programs? And what is, well, you told me the timeline. Who's leading the review?
The review is being led by our Human Resources Department by Ms. McKimmey and myself.
Okay, well, thank you. I yield back.
In this recent hearing, Representative Sheila Cherfilis McCormick challenged State Department officials over a pause in immigrant visa processing affecting 75 countries. She argued the policy is already separating families, delaying adoptions, and impacting vulnerable individuals. Now here's where things get interesting. State Department officials confirmed the pause was legally reviewed and approved, but when pressed for details on how the policy is being implemented, the answers became far less clear. The administration admitted they are still working through the legal framework months after the pause was put in place. That's right, policy first, details later, and this is exactly the kind of issue Americans are paying attention to. Not just what policies are put forward, but whether they are executed responsibly and transparently. The lawmaker raised concerns about protections already written into law, including exemptions for certain vulnerable groups. But officials couldn't give a clear timeline on when those protections would actually be applied under the current pause. Even more concerning, questions were raised about how the list of affected countries was created. At one point, references were made to countries that no longer exist, raising eyebrows about the accuracy of the data behind the policy. Now, to be fair, the State Department did say this is a temporary pause, not a permanent shutdown. But when you're dealing with people's lives, families, and legal protections, temporary without a clear plan is not good enough. This moment highlights a bigger issue. Policy decisions should be deliberate, precise, and fully thought through before they impact real people. Americans expect competence, clarity, and accountability, not confusion after the fact. What do you think about this visa policy and how it's being handled? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every one. If you want more breakdowns of what's really happening in Washington without the spin, make sure you like this video, subscribe, and check out the next video on your screen right now. You won't want to miss it.